Well, I hope there's some people listening out there tonight. We'll find out.
You may not find us on your TV, because in case you did not know, we're being brought to you by
OTR.
Brought to you by
27.085 megahertz.
Brought to you by RADI.
The Old Tube Radio Network.
Hey, I think they are talking about us, the Old Tube Radio Network, Real Radio's Glowing in the Dark, all that stuff. Pocket protector's on, the seersucker suit is here. Thanks for joining us. The OTR website with the Nixie tubes is still down, but the update is that it does exist somewhere in a little box that is going to be sequestered, and maybe we're going to pull out the parts and see if we can't transfer it somewhere else. But right now it's behind a bunch of other servers that cannot access the Universal Media NetWeb, but the reports I have is that it still is around. So we'll see in future episodes what can happen with that. In the meantime, if you're at 27085 at Channel 11, you are probably within the sound of my voice. It is very quiet. There is no skip going on at the moment. I'm not even sure if we'll have any check-ins, with the holiday weekend going on, but hopefully we will. And then beaconing across the Universal Media NetWeb on the YouTube thing with the chat where many of you are. We will get you checked in there and do what we do best, and that's distribute information and promote the use of Citizen Band Radio, especially in your tube mode of operation. We'll be checking in with the classic radios from, was it September 11th of 1958 when the FCC banged their gavel and said, yeah, do that CB thing until now, when we're still doing it because the radios were so cool, and we'll be talking to the radio operators that enjoy those radios and giving you a taste, if you are not familiar with what CB was like back 50, 60 years ago. Listen in tonight and you will hear the sound and the mannerisms of such things. My name is Dennis, one of the many net controllers to sit in the air chair of the Old Tube Radio Network, and I'm pleased to be here. Let's find out if there are any early check-ins, because there's lots of stuff going on, a lot of people visiting. You may be here or there, and we want to get you checked in if you are standing by us. The OTR listening for any early check-ins. Over.
Number 20.
All right, number 20, we have you. The website is down, so you will not see the 20 flashing over my shoulder here, but we will definitely get you checked in and maybe hear from you a little bit later. Over.
Well, maybe. I can't be in there that long. Okay. Check me in. 2954, maybe 135, depending on what he is doing. And Chrissy and Dwayne also. Okay? And I'm going to go rest. Thank you. Supposed to work today, but obviously I couldn't. Okay. We'll come back later.
All right, go rest. Go horizontal. You can turn on the small TV and watch and listen to the activities, and we will catch you next time. Good to have you at the microphonium. And yeah, today there will be no old buzzard transmissions for you. Thanks for stopping by, and I've got the list of check-ins. I think 135 will be there. Who else needs an early check? Thanks, Harvey. Who else needs an early check-in?
53 checking in.
All right, I'll take them as I hear them. So if I don't call your number, don't go away. 53, Mr. Belair, we've got you checked in. Thanks for stopping by. Over.
Thank you.
Dennis, get 650.
And of course, 650. We will do that. Who else needs an early check-in?
195.
And beautiful course gold beaconing down through the clouds, or maybe you're directly into the clouds that are hanging out all across the Central Valley. Got you checked in, Jim. Thanks.
Thank you, Dennis. Just for kicks.
56. I like the way we can connect the dots, connect the sentences. Let me go over to page 3 and make sure the X is in the square, which it is. Thanks, Phil.
Thank you, Dennis.
Any other stations here locally over the air for an early check-in? Over. 6161 from way out north. I don't know. Where are you today? Lodi, Galt? I don't know.
Cape Town, 6-1 checking in, Dennis.
All right, sounding good, and the X is in the square. Thanks for stopping by Copenhagen.
Thank you, sir.
Who else? I see 79 was on my list, so I will get you monitoring. Philip, I'll get you in now. So in case you have to monitor elsewhere, we will get you in as well.
$37.
37, hello, radio.
Yes, Dennis. Could I get checked in kind of early?
Yeah, we'll do it. We'll do it right now. Over.
I do appreciate that, and hope you have a wonderful evening.
It is so far so good. I've managed to not fall out of. I'm in the new air chair. It kind of rocks back and forth. It's got this little thing. I'm like a bop bag. I'm like the OTR net control bop bag. So I'm good. We've got you checked in.
Well, I go in there and turn on the YouTube on my radio. I mean, on my phone, and see what it looks like.
You can do that. All right. I'm going to make sure I've got. Let's see. I don't. Hello. Have double audio going on. Background noise. We'll find out. Looking at the background meter. So let me start. Let me start the roll call. I'll pick up the stations watching on the Universal Media Net web from afar and near. We are on channel 11. If you're listening in or tuning in on the video and like to see if you can hear us, we're in Central California. There has been no E-skip going on so far. The DX cut out about, almost 3 hours ago. As soon as the sun went down, everything crashed, including what usually shows up right now is Hawaii and Australia. They might come in. We will find out. Looking for 00, and we'll do it too much. 00 and SWL2. And Mr. OBP is there. Looking good, sir. So I'm going to get the 1X here and the 1X over there. Yeah, the OTR Echolink link is up. I remember to keep the link open, and we got a couple of stations checking in, which we will get to shortly. Thank you there, OBP, and I hope you had a decent mud duck gobble day. Thanks. SWL1, of course, checked in. Got a proxy for SWL3 and SWL5. Levon is somewhere. There he is, right there. 5, Levon. Everybody jumping in from old radio night, which was, what was on the radio tonight? A Palomar? No, a President. He was on the President tonight. We'll give you a quick playback when we get up to 21. He's listening and doing some visiting tonight. Over to SWL number 7. Someone said a proxy for Mr. Oh, you know what? I heard that. Maybe I'm getting, I'm going to turn the test. I could be getting feedback. I'm wearing the ginormous Sennheiser open ear microphone. So if I get too close, here's what happens. Yeah, you get feedback through the open headphones. It's supposed to sound better. Doesn't look any better. And they're more expensive, so I don't know. I don't know if this is a good thing or not, but hopefully not a bad thing. Let's go over to 982 SWL9 Dirt Dog.
How about it? This is Dirt Dog 982 checking in.
All right, we had a lot of turkeys this week, and number 9 is definitely not a turkey. 982, you are sounding loud and proud here at the old Tube Radio Net Control. Thanks for stopping by. Over.
All right, thanks, Dennis.
Thank you for jumping in. Also sounding good on the Ditchbanks sideband net last night. We've got a check-in for Chrissy, SWL10. Over to the dynamic duo, Dan and Dapper Dan, SWL11 and SWL12, who might be listening in somewhere over on... No, they'll be... You guys will be on the video side. It is so weird not having the Nixie tubes and all the other things that I need to do, but again, we are working on them to see if we can resurrect the 14-year-old server that was just kind of chugging away. Foxman 362, who's been busy, repairing items. I've seen a lot of wacky videos going on. Not only from you, from stuff going on, but from 390 and the rest. So a lot of people have had time this week to get on the air and make some noise. So check all those items out. And yeah, somebody did say Dapper Dan and Cornbread 11 and 12. We were getting you all checked in. Thanks for stepping away from the leftover tray from from the cookies and brownies, and saying hello to the Old Tube Radio Network.
Can I get a relay? I can do is barely hear him.
Yeah, 111 who can barely hear me. You're sounding good, though.
Thank you, sir. I heard you that time. 7-3.
All right, it's good to hear you live and direct. The channel is quiet. You've got a very good sound on the Old Tube Radio Network tonight. 111. Thanks, Bob. Bob out of Reedleytown. That's quite a distance, and you can see how quiet the frequency is tonight when we can hear 111. Over to SWL13, who often checks in via the Universal Media NetWeb and or the Crossband. They're both up. Bill saying it's 6:36 in Wilmington, North Carolina. It is 48, I believe, 48 degrees here in Fresno under the fog, under the clouds. SWL 13 we called to be listening in for Mikey. Let's go back out to Sangertown for SWL 14.
Hey, good evening, Dennis, and all the other SWLs out there. 14 checking in from Sanger.
Sounding good. No problem hearing you. So if you're radio active tonight, we'll be able to check in a couple of items, no doubt.
Oh, Roger. We will have one fired up at the said time.
Okay, coming up after the roll call. Real Radios Glowing in the Dark. Those are the classic tube radios from 1958 when they started making a bunch of them to 1978 when they stopped making all of them. But here on a Saturday evening, the Old Tube Radio Network, they still exist, so stay tuned. Over to SWL 15. Hans had an early check-in. He was going to be heading out to do some exciting item of interest. So if you're watching the replay, 173, thanks for joining us, and 15 is checked in. SWL 16. It is good to see you. We've got. Did they cook another turkey and ham? Have we not had enough? But I guess they're doing a whole big bash up in the green room. So if you didn't bring the little brown bag with leftovers, you can head over and get the real deal or whatever you need. So anyway, looking good. And thanks for, as always, Charlie, thanks for helping out. We are on our way to another Old Tube Radio Network. Let's go to SWL 17. SWL 18. Mr. KDA from Facebook said to get him checked in. Let's see, Somerville SC, what is it, 43 degrees, 75% humidity, and the pressure is 30.42. On your dial. I don't know what that would be, millibars. I think we're at 30.10. Same thing, winds are calm. Fried turkey. I don't know who's got fried turkey tonight. Let's go over to Chet, who is, where is it? Okay, got the cue cards. He set them down. Yeah, I don't think he wanted me to call his number, but they're back up. And we've already called Harvey, so I've got that in there, and we put an X in the square, for 19, so thanks. Let's go over to SWL 21. Mr. JT, who is visiting with his grandson. If I go here, yeah, okay, there's what was on Old Radio Night tonight. Here's the audio.
The wheel was won by PAW.
On the president.
Paul something.
Seeing who was winning.
I left them a message on their channel. They need to contact me with my email address. All right.
Got to subscribe to his channel there to be included in the upcoming 4K giveaway. There's a lot of good giveaways coming up. I don't think we're giving away anything here at the Old Tube Radio Network, so make sure you subscribe to the proper channels.
Paw Patrol.
to get all that good stuff.
Paw Patrol, yeah.
21 sounding good. He's on channel 21, by the way.
There, Bray.
All right, thank you, JT. We got you checked in on the Old Tube Radio Network. Back to the control room, where I'm surrounded by, the S meter? I feel like the Brady Bunch. The S meter is here, and over there is the REA meter for positive and negative peaks, and what is on this side is the Orban meter, so you can all check your level below full scale of 0, or whatever we do with that thing. Direct and net roll call. We are on page 1 looking for SWL 22. SWL 23. 23 Skidoo. What is going on with the Espresso Trucking Company these days? Will we be getting I think we will, coming up soon, a repeat performance for something. SWL 24. Somebody said to get Joseph checked in. I will do that. He might jump in. Usually he gets an early check-in. Let's head down to beautiful Madera Heights, SWL 25.
Well, hello, Dennis and the net. 25 checking in.
All right, you are sounding good. Are you still running off the same, what was it, Antron 99?
That is absolutely correct.
You know, despite what people say, and I don't know what they say, that is a darn good antenna, and it's working well for you. We've got you checked in.
Yeah, it works on the other bands too, so I have no complaints.
Yeah, you know, I was using my little Starduster that could. I made a nice 10-meter AM contact today to a station in Texas. Are you listening, Rob? That was AM 2900, and I think the station was near Dallas. I don't have the call. WA5, of course, but man, we were talking AM on 2900. So these broadbanded 11 Miatros antennas do work well. Thanks for checking in.
Thanks, Dennis, and you might check in 74 too. Thank you.
I will indeed do that. Thanks. And Cornbread, I thought that hissing. I thought they were letting air out of the Buick tires, but it turns out it was a little espresso machine going on in the green room. So yeah, it's always free there. Just stop by and have a good time. Page 2 is where we're at. We're looking for SWL 27.
27's checking in via the FM crossband, where I have 52 degrees and one burner of Mr. Heater running.
And I looked over. I knew you would be there today. I looked over to the crossband, and the signal meter went over, and the mellifluous voice of 27 beaconed out over the FM airwaves to my AM airwaves, and now you're basically transmitting across the world here on the Universal Media Netweb. You are sounding good. I know Studio G is no longer 100 degrees. It's starting to get chilly out there, so I hope you have your OTR jacket.
I have my OTR sweatshirt. That was the merch that I got there. Anyway, I do have one burner of Mr. Heater running now, so it's nice and toasty in here.
Well, that's a good thing. Enjoying you here on starting at page 2. Do not be a stranger. Thanks for stopping whatever you were doing and jumping into Studio G and saying hello, radio. We have you checked in. Over.
Roger, roger. Thanks, Dennis. KI6QL.
KB6GFD. Crossband check-in for Dwayne. SWL 27. Let's go over to up the road to where it is still foggy. I looked at the map from below Bakersfield. Anybody a Buck Owens fan to up to Sacramento, which is very unusual. The whole Central Valley is just socked in with this high pressure and low clouds and fog. So 28 may be just hanging out in the warm place, wherever that might be. But Gary, I'll get you checked in. I see you in there. I've got to find a pin that works. Here we go. What's happening? Checking in, finished cleaning the green room after Thanksgiving, time for a break. Shirley Temple and leftover popcorn. Ready for a second round. All right, well, But you'll have red lips and little popcorn seeds in your teeth, and you'll have a very interesting rest of your evening. Thanks for that, and save both for me. It sounds good. I can handle both of those. Thanks, 28. Got a proxy check in for 29. Also SWL 30. If the conditions of the band changes, maybe we'll hear Dwayne on the Robin or the General or the Browning. I don't know what radio we've been big in. Let's take an early check-in for SWL 83. I see in there, JZ, and I apologize for the other website being down. I know sometimes you will skip by over there, but thanks for joining us here tonight. I got you checked in. If you are not able to hang around till the 83, so we got the X in the square. SWL 31, Robert and Teresa out in beautiful Hendersonville, Tennessee. We're in a little bit earlier on the scroll up here. And I got you guys checked in. Hope all is going well. And you know what? I forgot. I tuned up, and this is for 32. When I was on 2900, I forgot to tune high enough to see if the repeaters were coming in. But there was nothing else from like 28,600 on to 2900. But this the Texas station was S9 the whole time. So we had a nice little, almost like a 6-meter opening where it's just nice, and we probably had a 10-minute conversation, and I don't think either of us was running big power. I was probably at 100 watts, and he was running Kenwood with an amp, so probably a little over 100 watts. But it was unusual because I checked the conditions, and the A index was high and the K index was high, and I thought, no, that won't work. But there was somebody there. SWL 32. Hi, Rob. I see you are there. Sounds like you practiced. You practice on one knee, so this knee is actually, you know what to do. So do the doctor. So hopefully this goes a lot quicker. I know you're in the beginning part, so not as much fun. But other than that, looks good. So stay warm. Stay close to the dragon, and you will be okay. And who else? We got a lot of people listening in, and I just remind you, don't have to be on. We have a list. This list is from who knows when. Don't have to be on any list. There's no secret handshake. You don't have to wear a funny hat. Just stop by and say hello, and we will say hi. Like Bill, and who else is joining us? Men like Will and Sonny checking in. I see you out there checking in. The Old Tube Radio Network, and we're working on getting the other website back up with the Nixie tubes. Don't even have to have a tube radio. How is that? Direct and net roll call. We'll be talking with the glow-in-the-dark radios coming up soon. SWL 33, that's myself, Bozo Control, who is around here somewhere, being very stealthy. Anybody that might be jumping in to the green room tonight, coming into the balcony, you want to get checked in, we'll do it under 33. I want to say hello to Jimmy and Railroader and Captain Chaos out there, just west of Chicago, who helps us out with many Facebook pages and sites about not only CB radios and things of that nature, but also locomotives. Good stuff. Mr. Bill, if you're listening, I'll get you checked in. I know you check in a lot over at oldtuberadio.net. That's a good place to do it, and that is down. But if you're watching the replay or live and direct, or someone says, is he still checking me in? Yeah, we will always be checking in Red Monkey Communications, because if it were not for you guys out there are a lot of the radios that we will hear tonight would not be on the air. Yan Man, you are here. I'm checking you in. Also, Ken, UDX 111. Hi, Ken. I see you on the screen, getting you checked in. And live and direct, somebody gave you a proxy check in, Chrissy, but the Dolphins are jumping, so I'll put the big X in the square, and likewise for Dwayne SWL 30. We are missing our website that generates the graphics here, so you'll have to take my word for it. But I put your X in the paper box here, which I do. Tower of Power is on tonight. So good. At least we have two Dennises listening in. Let's go over to SWL 30. Oh, Chris checked in. SWL 37. I heard you. And Van Man is out and listening. You know, that's what happens when ORN signs off early or signs off not so late. A lot of people jump over from that program, from the Fun Net, and come over here to the old Tube Radio Network. So thanks. So thanks for all the ORN celebrities jumping over here to the old Tube Radio Network. Sammy, 38, out in Byron. I'm looking for you. I'm listening for you. Captain James T. Kirk is, he played a Captain James T. Kirk is checking and played a little funny thing on me. He sent me a very nice old Tube Radio sweatshirt, but it was a red. It was a red sweatshirt, and you thought I was going to fall for it, didn't you? But notice I'm not wearing the OTR red sweatshirt because I want to be here next week. Let's go over to SWL 39. SWL 40.
SWL 40. Checking in from a balmy Chinatown at 47 degrees.
I know, it's just 47 kind of miserable, dreary, misty degrees. I was up in the high desert for Thanksgiving, and let me tell you, it was very difficult coming from that 80-degree weather going over Tehachapi. Yes, I did. I looked for the site. I couldn't see it. And then down through, I think it's Keene on Highway 58. You get to Keene, and all of a sudden, there's clouds and fog, and in 3 minutes, the temperature drops about 25 degrees, and you know you are back in the Central Valley. But you are checked in, sir.
It was great to see the sun for the first time in several weeks.
I know it actually came out today, so I felt that they were being nice to me. So thanks for checking in. The old Tube Radio Network, Real Radio is going in the dark. This is the directed net roll call. Coming up, the Tube radios after this. Maybe your favorite manufacturer will be in tonight. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how many radios we will have. A lot of people out of town. And thank you, Matambale, saying this is the Fun Net. This is definitely one of the Fun Nets that's, as we say in Hammy Radio, Foxtrot Uniform November. We try to make it fun. So the sooner we get to the radios and the less of me, the more fun it will get. But we enjoy checking people in from everywhere. It's kind of cool. I know a lot of people are now doing likewise check-ins, get on the air nets. There is all sorts of tune-inable YouTube video gates or whatever they call them, looking at what's going on. So good stuff. Hope we can keep people interested in the CB part of this and maybe encourage some people to also add some more fun in the amateur radio side and keep that going as well. Page 2 is where we are at. If you're playing the home game, we're looking for Road Dog 507, SWL 41. And Neil, I see you. Let me get you checked in now in case you have to go. 147. Big cold snap is rolling through below 30. Wow. You guys always have you always put us to shame here in the Central Valley with your good weather, but not so. And you know what it's like. You were here. We're having the Thule fog is back thanks to all the rain that we had. No snow. That's north. Decent conditions, Midwest and West Coast. Yeah, it was interestingly good today, even though they said conditions shouldn't be that good on 10 and 11. So, Dr. Jazz, thanks for joining us. Wow, 18 in Colorado. Well, what is the lowest point of Colorado? Isn't it 4,500? It's. See, when I was driving to the desert, which is about 2,000, I went up to about 4,500. And it definitely wasn't 18 degrees. There was snow way on the peaks at about 8,000 feet. So, You never know. Let's go, 41, Road Dog 507, SWL 42.
Good evening, Dennis, and all the SWL listeners. 42 and the crew, here like always.
And like always, sounding marvelous with the good 20 over S9 signal. We'll look for you guys a little bit later when things start glowing in the dark.
Thank you, sir. We appreciate it. We will definitely be out here, no doubt.
Good deal. Yeah, so I think my ASL, what is that? The average above sea level is about 302, something like that. We're down on the valley floor. That's why we get the fog. But we're right to be at 5,200 feet, which would be up in the 30-degree weather. Probably good beacon down on the valley, and people might be able to hear me. Thank you, Jerry. We got the X in the square. Let's go to SWL. Oh, somebody said to proxy in 43, which I will do. Mr. 360 Ray, SWL 44, around the corner. Get a proxy in for 360. SWL 45, X in the square for Paul and Kelly. Now, you guys might be listening out there. Looking forward to you getting back on the airwaves soon. Yeah, see, Richie, 362, talk to UK, Canada. You are in just such a great location. Being in the kind of the central part, you've got north, south, you've got the hop to the UK. When we get the double bounce, you guys can get Hawaii, Australia. So great location. And if you listen to any of the videos that Foxman does, you know he's got a great radio, and he's always sort of in some different location. It's like, where is he going to be today? Let's go to SWL 46. Somebody said, hello, Dennis. Who was that? Who said that? One of the dentists says, okay, we've got Emu Park. Thank you, VK4. Thanks for saying hello, radio. And I am better than you are. Hello, Dennis. Well, thanks. And no doubt that's probably a true statement, because you know why? Because I would say your jacket. I don't know. I like mine, but your tie is probably straighter than mine. So, and the pocket protector, you've got. You know, I do have pens. I do have. Oh, I'm going to get close. We're going to add, just so I'm on the same lap. We're going to add the Exolite. As it's known in the business, it's called the Greenie, the little tweaker screwdriver. I'm going to add that to the pocket protector, because what is a pocket protector without the tweaker screwdriver? And that's, you engineers know what I mean when I say that. You engineers know what I mean when I say the tweaker screwdriver. Let's go over to SWL 47. Put an X in the square for Michael. He might be in SWL 48, Sam. I'm listening. You know, Sam was on Facebook. I will put an X in the square. Yeah, a lot of us have our, some people out there, 4-land, 9-land. A lot of us have or are studying for or getting our ham ticket. So maybe we'll have to check in on, if you got a general class, 10-meter AM at 2,900 something. Or maybe on 28,300, 28,500. Maybe we should go to like 28,385 or something. See how many of the tech guys we can dial up on 10 meters on a Sunday after the net. Let's go over to SWL 49. SWL 50. I know Gerald is there because he was in earlier before we started the net. UDX 36. And we're still in cycle 25, so 10 is kind of funny. All the West Coast guys won't hear the West Coast guys, but they'll hear the Midwest guys. You can kind of cheat and listen in on the SDRs, but Might find something to do. So 50, are you listening? I got you checked in. You might have stepped away, but I know you're there. SWL 51.
SWL 51 checking in.
Sounding good from Sanger this evening through the murky, misty clouds, and we've got you checked in. Dave, thanks.
Thank you, guys. Have a good evening.
Always good audio. SWL 52, Aaron checked in on the crossband just before the net, 52, and SWL 53, Mr. Belair checked in early. Got to turn the page. And you can tell I'm not a musician. How is it that they're playing the violin, or what they're doing, tooting the trumpets, and they're able to turn the page and follow along in the music? Unlike your net control, it takes about 5 or 6 seconds to do that. That is why I'm not in the Fresno Philharmonic. Well, that's one reason. The other reason is I don't play any instruments. Maybe I could practice just to turn the pages. And you see this guy sitting there with a stand. He's turned the pages, but he's not playing anything. But boy, does he know how to turn the pages. We've got a proxy check-in for 54. Let's go up the hill for Eminem, SWL 55. Yeah, well, unless you're talking about the piano, unless you don't need pages on the piano, or are you using them for some comedic effect? I don't think I ever saw Liberace turn a page. Over to the SWL 56, just for kicks, checked in early. SWL 57, BDA. Boy, that is what we need. We need a sort of an assistant, an OTR assistant that would come in and put the numbers up. Checking in, number 22. They could stand right there, right behind the desk, and hold up the card. I think the OTR network census would have something to say about that. Let's go to SWL 58. I think someone said get the obligatory proxy check-in for Jeremy, which I will do that. Uncle Hairball, Mr. to me, I'm sure. SWL 59. I'm waiting for I don't know what kind of internet lag we have tonight. Albert, sounding good. Listening to guys talking up in BC. I haven't been on the air much. But I tuned in today on, in fact, the AM guy from Texas. He was talking to a Canadian station. He was talking to an Idaho station, and then he picked up my Piss Week signal. That's what you say on AM from California. But the Squamish Boys, 428 Peter Albert to UDX 256. Oh, hello, radio from the west coast of BC. Listening in, you can hear the band is super quiet, so at some point it just might open up. It's like I said, it's kind of socked in clouds here. I'm not sure what's going to happen on the conditions, but we've got you checked in. And 59, did I see 59? Okay, we will. Or did he get an early? No, I don't see an early. We'll get to 59 proxied in. SWL 60, hello, Joe. I think he's watching the game.
Dennis, doggone it, just watching the game over here. I'll give you a quick little report there. 13-7, San Jose just scored a minute ago. SWL 60, Dennis, checking in.
6-0 checking in, sounding good. Thanks for jumping away from the game. And who are the teams? Again, I know one of them, but who are the teams tonight?
Fresno State, of course, and San Jose. San Jose's playing at home.
Oh, wow. And that's a big rival. I remember a lot of people from town will drive into San Jose. They would actually drive up to Logan, Utah. And what was the other one? Oh, when Las Vegas, yeah, UNLV. they would drive out to that one. So we will see what happens, and it is the end of November, so we're getting pretty close to the final games because most of the bowl games are in a couple of weeks, right?
Oh, yeah. They are playing for some type of trophy today. It's the Big V. I don't know what it stands for, but they're playing for something. Hopefully they'll win today.
Well, hopefully they will. I've got the X in the square, and so you're good to go back to the game. And we are playing for a trophy here tonight, and Chet says, oh, he's pointing at the desk. He said, the trophy is already here for the Old Tube Radio Network. We've already won it. The Mud Duck Trophy, so we're good to go. Over.
Oh, okay. I like that. Okay, Dennis, we'll go back to the game here for a little bit there until the Old Tube Radio starts.
And they are coming up, and we've got plenty of space on the list. Like I said, I wasn't sure how many check-ins we would have tonight because now people are busy going places and doing things. Thanks. Direct Net roll call. The Old Tube Radio Network. Dennis here, sitting in the air chair, checking in the items of interest. The shortwave listeners, those who may or may not have tube radios, but like myself, are always interested in hearing the sights and sounds of the classic radios that will be coming up. Let's go to SWL 61, checked in already. SWL 62. SWL 63. Shortwave listener 64. Craig checked in early before the net out there in Nineland in Wisconsin. So, Craig, I got you checked in. Up the hill to SWL 65. Shortwave listener 66 on the horizontal side, if you can hear me on the vertical side. All right, there is lag. Sorry about that. Butterbean, SWL 63 out there in Georgia. I had to back up. I forget, on the Universal Media Network, it takes a while for all the little hops to go from Universal Media Network to NetWeb to server to whatever. It's not like the speed, it's the speed of light, but not like it is when you're going from antenna to antenna. So 63, you are looking good and sounding good from, as always, from North Georgia. Thanks. Over to SWL 67. Bill has found us here on the video side. Bill often checked in at oldtuberadio.net. I mentioned I think we've got the box with all the little parts inside. You can rattle. It's like, Cracker Jack. You hear it. You can rattle it, hear all the little pieces and parts. There's that little prize inside, and we're working to get that out of there and maybe continue it on. We will see what happens. SWL. Thanks, Bill, out there in Canby, Oregon. Listen in. We could have some short skip tonight. Over to SWL 68. And Michael did check in early. And likewise, SWL 69, Ken in Tulsa stopped by and wishing all his friends out here in the Central Valley a happy Thanksgiving. Thanks, Kenny. We might hear one of your radios tonight, by the way. So stay tuned for, I think one of your, what do they say? One of your children might be checking in here tonight. Let's go to SWL 70.
Hello, Dennis. Right here. 70 checking in, and thank you very much for doing the net. Definitely enjoying the cooler weather. How about you? Over.
Well, I was, and then I spent a couple days in Southern California, Riverside in the high desert, where it was 80 most of the time. And then I started enjoying that weather. And then I went to that little, you're going down into the valley, and it goes from 78 to about 48 in 3 minutes and through the fog. So my question to you, at your new elevation, and we're pretty socked in because of the high pressure, are you above, in the center, or below the cloud line? Over.
Right on the edge. We've been socked in a lot, but depending what time of the day it is or what particular day it is, we'll be like, it'll lift, or we'll be just above it and kind of looking down on it and stuff. So best to answer your question, yeah, kind of right along the borderline, but it's been a bit nippy.
Yeah, because you're right at that, and it's a cool thing. If you've never seen it, experienced it before, at least here in the Central Valley, it's almost as though when the clouds are like the ocean, like you're standing at the beach and you can see the clouds sort of waving, coming in a little bit, and then they'll come up a little bit and block the sun or start blocking the sun and go down, and then they'll waft in, and the sun will be sequestered. I guess that's the right word, and then the temperature will definitely go down. All right, good stuff. It's always sounding good. Thanks for jumping in the Old Tube Radio Network.
Thanks, Dennis. And we're at 1550, something like that elevation. And Thursday we're at my sister's place up the hill. It's like 4,300 elevation. And there you can kind of totally look down and what you just described, where you kind of see that the clouds just kind of roll in and the whole valley socked in. It's pretty cool to see. Anyway, thanks very much for doing what you do and running the net, and happy Saturday.
Yeah, it's been a good Saturday. The sun came out down here in the valley, and I almost got something done. So I'm hoping they'll do that tomorrow, and I will continue on. Thanks for joining us, the Old Tube Radio Network. SWL 71, Stan, out in Dallas, Georgia. Thank you, Stan, if you're listening, for joining us here on the video side. As I mentioned, we're working, trying to get the tubes back and running. I'm not sure. I'll just keep you updated on that. But good to have you in. There was some kind of contest going on 10 meters, but I don't know what it was. CQ Worldwide? I don't know. There's always something going on. SWL 72. I want to say thanks for joining us. UDX 483, Mud Bucket number 5. And I have to got an early call because you're going to cook breakfast for the missus in the morning. Well, so you get 1 point for jumping in on a Saturday evening, the Old Tube Radio Network, and getting checked in if I don't wreck the microphone. And then you get about a dozen points for jumping out of here so that you can get up early enough to have everything ready for the missus in the morning. That's worth a lot more points. But I'm glad you wanted to rack up one for us. Let's go to SWL 73.
Oh, give old 73, the music instructor, a proxy.
I will do that. I thought of John as I was driving up 58, and I don't know exactly where the mystery spot is, but the road is only at about 4,500. The summit, the Tehachapi summit's at 4,100 feet. And did you not say that his secret spot is at 7,000? Is that correct?
Well, it's not quite 7. I think it's around 65-ish or something like that. I can't remember now, or 62, something kind of high. But he's in a really windy spot.
Well, I mean, it's flat. When you get to the summit, everything's flat, and you have hills around you. So I'm thinking if he's up another 2,300, he's probably on the side of a hill that's going to get blasted by whatever happened. But anyway, I thought about that. I looked around. Said, I wonder where that little spot is. So yeah, get him checked in. It was a nice drive. The weather was great. There was snow probably at the tippity top of the mountain. So I'm going to say at 8K, something like that. But there wasn't a lot of wind, so it was nice. So we got 73 checked in. Thanks. Also, 74, proxy for Miss Julie. And let's go to BYU 356, SWL 75. And someone is waving. There's, they put lights here. They put lights here in the studio, so sometimes I can't see if you're up in the balcony. Oh, of course, it's Jed, UDX 183, waving to the Old Tube Radio Network. We'll wave right back. Let's go to SWL 76. Out in beautiful Rhode Island, Johnson, Rhode Island. Red Fox 1. I think he's one of the stations that checks in at oldtuberadio.net. So if you're seeing the replay, 76, I got you. We're going to get you checked in. Let's go to SWL 77.
Good evening, Dennis. 77/1017. Checking in on the ground-mounted J-pole. Good evening to all the listeners, and I hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving. And look forward to checking this little talker in. It's a pretty cool radio.
It is good. Sounds good. We will look for it coming up here in a little bit when we start glowing in the dark on the old Tube Radio Network. Got you checked in.
Roger, roger.
SWL 78, Wild Wildemar, where it's probably nice weather for a little while. I haven't seen Richard in yet, so I will put a proxy in, but he'll probably be live and direct. And from page 2. Right, to be able to turn the pages like I should. I'm going to practice on the page turning. Arlen is in, SWL 46 out in Wisconsin, where there's lots of snow. I tried to hear my signal. There's an SDR up in, is it Presque Isle? Presque Presque Isle, am I saying that right? Wisconsin. They got the best receiver up there, and that was weak today. Week today on 10. I was better in the Midwest than I was up in Wisconsin, but we've got you checked in, and I guess lots of snow. I hope it's good. I've got the you know what to do. When it snows here, we don't know what to do, but you know what to do when it snows in Wisconsin. 46, we got you checked in. '77 is in. 78, 79 checked in early. Or checked in already. SWL 80. Page 4, SWL 81. SWL 82.
82, checking in from the Ditch Banks of Biola. Good evening.
And good evening. Before you go, I know you have the big receiver over there. Have you heard, I haven't heard it here because I have no ears and I'm a mud duck. Have you heard any beaconing, any voices from far out coming in tonight?
No, I haven't. I've only been listening for about 15, 30 minutes, and I haven't heard anything from way out there.
All right, well, it has been quiet. I mean, I'm not complaining, but, you know, we do have stations that listen in here on the West Coast. We get the short hop or the long hop, we'll be listening. Sounding good. That is the voice of Mr. Bones. You will hear him directing the Ditch Banks sideband net that happens on Friday evenings here on the West Coast at 8 p.m. Standard Time on 36 lower. What's that? 27,365. There's a roll call, and then there's a spot for visitors to jump in, so anyone is welcome, and I'm sure he'd like to check you in. Thanks, Ron.
All right, Dennis, thanks for doing tonight's Old Tube Radio Net.
And, how is the Ditch Bank? Does it fill up with fog?
No, you know, we just don't get that thick, gooey fog like we used to. So driving's been fine, and the fog at its very low minimum. And I will be seeing SWL 58 tomorrow. Jeremy is he's in Bass Lake, so he's going to make it down the hill from Bass Lake to come by and say hi before heading off to Tennessee.
Okay. In fact, where I was, some of the people, there was a phone call up at Bass Lake, and they were visiting and staying in a cabin and doing stuff like that. So I don't know, I think it was the same person, but I don't know. You know, these twisted webs come in, but I'm thinking, Bass Lake, because that was far away. I know where Bass Lake is, so good deal. See, you know, I have a bad signal up in the Bass Lake. There is some rock in the way, but were he to be tuning in to the Old Tube Radio Network live, we would know that we got him checked in today and X in the square, and glad that he jumped away and was able to get out to visit to all the people out here on the West Coast. Sounds good. Thanks.
All right, 7-3. Take care.
SWL 83, JZ checked in earlier. If you're still there, JZ, the X. Boop, boop. The X is in the square from seeing you earlier. Let's go also get SWL 84, SWL 86, 87, and 88. Of course, that's Cheerios Kid, Mountain Maid, Tandy Girl, and Snowy Owl, who got together long ago and got me the nice Old Tube Radio on the air light, so I always know where I should be and when. SWL 89. SWL 90. Got a proxy for 90. Felix was in early. SWL 91 out there in the Bronx, so we got Felix checked in. Bill, thanks for the Fresno State update. 19, San Jose 7. Oh, that's good. They just scored again. And Ken, you got to call tonight? No problem. I know it's a lot of people are traveling and a lot of stuff has been going on. So we will indeed have a great rest of our weekend, and likewise, I hope, out your way. Thanks for joining the Old Tube Radio Network. Let's go over to SWL 92. SWL 93. Someone said give Leo a proxy, which I will do. Could stop by live and direct before we get out of here. Foxman is still in. He's seeding the clouds, like they do with rain. He's throwing that, I don't know what you do, throw dry ice up into the clouds with the little launcher. The slingshot launcher, he's trying to seed the clouds to get a little bit more DX. SWL 95. Where is that Warthog 95? SWL 96. Shortwave listener 97. Jim, I saw you last week, but I think I turned away. So I'm making sure you got the X in the square for last week. And I put an X in the square this week, just in case you have a really slow internet connection. New Jersey is checking in, the two-land. Alpha Delta Charlie, hello, Art. Thanks for joining the Old Tube Radio Network. And likewise, Frank B. from Yellow Springs, Ohio, checking in and wishing a great Thanksgiving to all. Ohio State wins the game with the state up north. Okay, so they're doing okay. Fresno State is doing okay so far. The game's not over yet. SWL 98. Foxman is laughing. Richie's laughing. We know what you do. We've seen that video. Just like, please, just one more contact. Boing. Let's go over to SWL 99. The boat anchor, Steve, checking in. I've got my boat anchor, but it's down. It's the worst place to put a boat anchor. The HT37 is down. It's on the floor. I'm going to have to figure out how to lift that up. I'm definitely going to need help, I think, because it really should be up on a table. I think it's going to be too heavy for that table I'm getting, for the table we've ordered. But maybe we can have some auxiliary boat anchor table. All right, let's try, if I can set this up correctly, let's try for the Echo Link links. First, we will go to Tony in McClellanville and see what is up. KD4BAO, KB6GFD on the Echo Link, over. And Tony is our purveyor of the tubes on the air.
Hey, good evening, Dennis. Please check in SWL 100. Good to hear you. Sorry about the low audio. But please check me in and have a good evening. KD4BAO.
No problem on the audio. You corrected it there at the end. It sounded good. Beaconing everywhere, KD4BAO. Sounded good, Tony. Tony is getting ready to install the tube activator and get us going here in a little bit to check on the air. Thanks. 73 to you. KB6GFD. And while we are here on the Echo link up, let's go north. Actually, it's north and west. I think Sparks and Reno are actually west of here when you look at the map. It's kind of strange. You just don't think of that. But anyway, Al, take a transmission. KI6CBA, KB6GFD, over. If I know what's happening up there, and if they're getting any snow.
KB6GFD from KI6CBA. Happy post Thanksgiving, Dennis, and the shortwave listeners. It's really a good chance to listen to you and see what type of radios come up on the list tonight. So I'm going to check off with that and wish it all well. 75.
Okay, doing good. I know temperatures are starting to get cold and snow. The snows of winter may be coming on, but thanks for jumping onto the Old Tube Radio Network tonight, sounding good. And we will check in with you next time, 73, from KB6GFD. Direct Internet roll call. The end of page 4 here, looking for John, SWL 102. 102 from beautiful Scranton. Checking in and saying hello, radio. And Daniel letting us know that he's got several boat anchors, but they're the real ones. They're connected to the boat. they're somewhere around the boat. And they all work. So if you need a spare, a lot of us have some boat anchors that you could probably, do a one-time throw off, and they'll work, and then they'll be sitting at the bottom. Thank you, John. 102 checked in. SWL 103. Joey's in. Where's Shoals, South Carolina? 39. Wow. Okay, that's getting a little chilly. Out there in South Carolina, I'm going to put the X in the square, 103, 102. I remember it wasn't so long ago that our temperatures here, the Old Tube Radio Network, were 103, 102. Not anymore, not for months and months. Let's go up to 109, Mr. Crawdad. He got a proxy check in on last night. And I will do likewise tonight for 109. Saying hello and goodbye. I don't know what the number is for hello, but the number for goodbye is 73. The Mix Club looks like fun. I'll have to come back and see what this is. I know. When you find out, tell me what this is. I hope you have a good holiday. We are, before you go, Mix Club, we have been doing this. I kid you not. We have been doing this. Maybe not on the Universal Media Network, and maybe not with digital trickery, but over our respective tube radios, we have been doing this for almost 40 years, since the mid-1980s, where it's a get-on-the-air night where we said, we got some old radios, some of the tube things, and it'd be kind of nice, like you would with an old car, to drive them around at least once a week, to go to the hamburger stand and say, oh, that's pretty cool. Look at all those fins and chrome. And so we did that. We came down to Channel 11 long ago and said, well, what are you running? I'm running a General. What are you running? I'm running a Browning. And people came in and started listening, and people who had tube radios came in and started listening. And so we've been doing it. And then as the 21st century happened, which was 25 years ago, we started going digital, where we're beaconing the audio out so people can hear from afar, and stations such as yourself can kind of tune in and say, well, that's kind of neat. Maybe we can do something like that, or maybe we'll just listen in and see what happens. So that's the deal. That's the deal here at the Old Tube Radio Network. So thanks for joining us, and we will look for you again. It's Saturdays live, is Saturdays 8 p.m. Pacific time. And then now, because we have the replay on the YouTube video, you can stop by any time and scroll through. Say, that guy's talking again. You can scroll through all of that and get to the cool part with the radios, which is coming up. So thanks for joining us. Let us go to SWL 110. SWL 111, Robert checked in live from Reedley. And hello, Douglas, 111 Worldwide. Since we're on the 111, so from the Worldwide Cold Country. Thank you, Doug. Over to SWL 113. SWL 114.
114, checking in.
114. Sounded good, Wayne. Sounded good last night on the ditch banks, and sounded good here on the AM. Thanks for checking in.
Thank you for the check-in, Dennis.
Good deal. And Daniel's got the National NC300. Too heavy for the boat, but it's it'll sink. Well, you know what? I think the NC300's got the 11-meter position on it, doesn't it? I don't know if you have to. Is that the one you got to put the filters, the coils in? That's a nice radio, or nice receiver. So dial it up to get the dials at 27085 plus or minus and listen in. If they skip whatever, behave. SWL 128, John, thanks so much again for finding us here on the on the video side. We are working. We found the box that has all the Dixie tubes in it, and we're hoping we can reconstruct that to get back on that. So we'll find out how that works. But anyway, out there in beautiful Fairfax, Virginia, we've got the X in the square. Let's go over to SWL 131. SWL 133. SWL 135. And Cliff might be listening in on the delay. But he did check in live on the crossband radio, so we'll get the X in the square. SWL 137, we've got a proxy check in. SWL 145, hello, Tony. You know, Tony left us with some questions, which I will get to in a moment here after the end of the net. SWL 147, Neil, we saw you there earlier, so I'm rechecking you in. I think that's what we say. There's a question. Charlie is saying there's a question. All right, let me see. What was the question? I don't know. Sometimes the typing is so... Oh, it was... Norman 4802. Al, okay. Is the S-meter reading ID or compression? All right, the S-meter, and I can dial it, I think. I think we're reading... Oops. They're saying don't touch the camera because it breaks it. All right, I won't do that. It's on PO. It's on power output. So that's your low-level modulation, at least at this time. So it's on the PO when I'm talking, and when I'm not talking, it goes up to the S-meter. And I've got it set up where I'm attenuating a lot of the noise so that the SWLs listening and don't have to listen to going on. And then I also have the RF gain set up a little bit. And then when the stations start checking for the tubes, I may adjust that. So you're looking at S-meter when I'm not talking, and at this point, the PO, although I could change it to, there's going to be no compression. The ID, let me see. You know what? I'm sorry. We'll do a little technical stuff here. You got me. Is that the ID? That's the ID. No, that's the ID. Okay, that should be the ID. There is no compression. I'm not even sure what that is. That's that's not good. That's the SWR. I think I could tweak that a little bit, but I won't do it right now. And not bad. Not good. Okay, sorry. Get me started talking about technical stuff. I'll leave it on SWR and work on that. Sorry about the old buzzer transmissions. Let's go to SWL 188. You got a techie nerd in a seersucker suit from the 1960s in a pocket protector, and then you start asking him technical stuff with him. He's got knobs to turn. That is a bad thing. Let's go to 188. Proxy for Snow Beast. 195, Jim checked in earlier. And we've got a check-in for Jeff, SWL 226. Tube radios are coming up, but I did want to take a moment because Tony left us some questions and answers from his Friday net, which are always very RF and radio related. So first question, and this is multiple choice. Oh, here it is. Which tube was often used instead of a silicone diode in the bridge rectifier circuit? So which tube, instead of the diode in the bridge rectifier circuit, was it a type 30, a 5Y3, a 5U, like uniform, or an 886A? So if you're getting rid of the bridge diode in the bridge rectifier, would you use a type 30, a 5Y3, a 5U, or an 886A? I think I know this one because we often talk about, especially the older radios from the late 50s and 60s will have this tube in them. And we talked about the type 30 tube last week. So you can rule out A. It's definitely not going to be A. So if you're going to use the tube instead of the diode in the bridge rectifier, you're looking at a 5Y3. A popular choice for hams because it was inexpensive readily available, and it offered a specific soft start characteristic that protected sensitive circuits from voltage spikes, a trait that the silicon diodes lacked. Hams also preferred the tube's unique sound. I didn't know it affected the sound. So when we get those older radios that check in with the 5Y3, the 5U4, whatever those rectifier tubes are, we know there's enhancing the sound. Good stuff. All right, question number 2. This is not multiple choice. At one time, the FCC limited the number of HF amplifiers an amateur operator could build in 1 year. What was that number? I never knew this. So at one time, the FCC limited the number of HF amplifiers an amateur operator could build in 1 year. What was that number? I have no clue. I never knew this existed, so I'm just going to go on with that. Somebody says 3. And Bill, you're 5'4". Yeah, we're in the right category there. Okay, the answer. In the 1970s, amateur operators could only build one non-certified external RF power amplifier per calendar year. How would they know? However, it could not be a kit or easily modified to operate on the 26 to 28 meg. Okay, this is a CB thing. This is we hate CBers. This is the FCC. We'll get them. One, we'll put the little filters. We'll make all the manufacturers fix their knobs and put in filters, and we'll restrict you from building more than one, and then slap your wrists if you're going to build one that operates from 26 to 28 megahertz. There you go. And it must be for the operator's own station. That's the other thing. Okay, I could see that. They didn't want... And people were doing this. It's like, well, I know how to build an amplifier. You could build it out of... You take an old television set that somebody's throwing away, and you grab the sweep tubes and the transformer. I talked to people that built... In a day, they would build, a nice little 40-watt amplifier for their 11-meter radio out of a TV set. And so they didn't want you building for anybody else, and you could build one. That's what I can say? That's pretty sorry, actually. But a good thing. Well, thanks, Tony. Back in a moment, we'll be checking your tube radios. Were there to be any? And Daniel says 63. Was that your answer? And you only built 62. See, Daniel was... He was not a scofflaw. If they said you could build 63, he's building 62. All right, back in a moment, we'll be talking the tube radios. You are listening to the Old Tube Radio Network.
TV, SPL 13, checking in.
Hello, radio, loud and clear here at the net control. We will put an X in the square for 13, KB6GFD.
Thank you, Dennis, and good evening to all the SPLs.
Sounding good here in the studio tonight. You are checked in. The radios are coming up next. Thanks. And without any further ado, the Jingle Singers said,
You may not find us on your TV, because in case you did not know, we're being brought to you by
OTR.
Brought to you by
27.085 megahertz.
Brought to you by RADI.
The Old Tube Radio Network.
All right, and I should be able to do this without the oldtuberadio.net, which was sort of the workings of things. It's a little bit more challenging and difficult for me to get to the Rolodex and make sure they show up on the screen, but I will do my best in the time allotted. So the Old Tube Radio Network is now listening for any and all radio check-ins over. And now we got a challenging game going on. The Bulldogs are winning. So we'll see what we get.
Ready to go, TR?
All right, someone has found their microphonium. The coiled cord or not is working its way to the microphonium input. And there is RF. The break OTR, go ahead.
Yeah, 10:17. I waited to see if anybody else was going to jump in there, but we'll go ahead and do it. This is produced in 1976, early February, a Gemtronics GTX 2300 that looked like it went through World War I, II, and possibly it went to the future to World War III. But we brought her back, recap, retube, and had a little help from Harvey on a couple things, and Jerry, 42. So between the three of us, we brought this one back to life. And we are talking on a aesthetic D104 base with the 1940s Buick-looking 10C ceramic microphonium as the head unit on top of the stand there.
Very good. The Gemtronics GTX 2300. This is before, and like you said, if it was past or prior, post 1976, you would be probably talking on the 5000, I think it was. Got a picture. Oops, the picture went away. Let me go back to the picture. You've got the RF meter, TX-RX. Good audio, by the way. Nice, good audio. This is sort of, I mean, you know what the Robin's like. So they've taken away a little bit of the front fun, the knobs and dials, but the inside still sounds good. Over.
Yeah, a lot of rubbing and scrubbing, and every cap you could think of, and the tubes, but Harvey showed us a trick on the audio section, obviously. That turned out well. I have the mic turned way down, but it will do close to 160% modulation, but we've got it turned down. The peaks right now are about 80%.
Yeah, I think there was, and I'll go back, see if we get another shot. I'm going to see if I get it. There's a rear project. Okay. Because these had the load and the plate, but I'm thinking there may be some internal, I know there was a diode clipping thing or something, but the nice thing is you got the plate and the load, so you can put these things, you can not over-tweak them, which would be easy to do, and it wouldn't sound very good. But I can tell by, and we'll put up the S-meter here in a little bit, but the way the S-meter is moving forward, that you have not tweaked or unloaded and overloaded the item. Over.
Yeah, I dipped the plate pretty good. That helps bring that forward swing in there. But it does have a potentiometer internally on the audio circuit that from the factory is turned quite a ways down, so I couldn't resist. I turned it up and did the load, went back to the plate, back to the load, you know the deal, and then dipped that plate, and you get it to key about 3.5 and swinging to close to 12 watts.
It definitely looks like that. Good forward swing. The audio is not pinched at all. When you talk loud, it gets loud. What was the microphone you said you were using?
The TUG9 stand with the 10C alien head, or a lot of people say it looks like the front of a 1940s Buick, that funny looking head.
Okay. I was going to see if I had a shot of that. I have a shot of the microphone that comes with it. That's definitely not what you're using. It's a 4-pin that plugs into the front, and I'm scanning the front. Oh, this doesn't even have the range boost on it, does it?
No range boost. It has the S-meter switch and the RF and PA and speaker. Very basic, very clean, just a nice, upfront, simple, really well-engineered, ergonomically anyways. It's just, these last few days I've really had fun with this radio, and it feels really good when you bring them back up and you make them look nice and you make them work right. There's no better feeling than bringing something back compared to all the plastic and all the crap that's coming out of China these days.
Oh, yeah, that is for sure. I'm going to steal a shot here. This will be, there it is, off of an eBay. There's the 10DA microphonium and the head. That looks very classic. You feel like you should be doing a 1940s radio show.
Yeah. What a cool looking head, man. And they're more on the upper end as far as mids and highs, but I tell you what, if I were to open this thing up a little more on the microphone, this thing will cut through the mustard and the heterodyne and right over the top of of all the other operators keyed up at the same time.
It's a good deal. These were probably they were made for tube radios. Some of the Collins collectors like these. The impedance was usually matched for that, so it's a good deal for your tube radio, which is the Gemtronics GTX 2300. Getting the resurrection, the top. How is the inside? Looks good. The outside looks pretty good as well. Over.
Well, Jerry, what do the insides look like?
It's clean enough to eat out of, I'll tell you that. When you open up one of these old tubers and you expect to see that dirty, crusty-looking radio, this thing is nothing like that.
It's pristine. I'd say a 9 out of 10 on this radio.
All right, 9 out of 10 is good. Looking good. Got a lot of people giving it thumbs up. Even Brian, who now he's kind of a transistor guy, but he likes the tube radios. He and I studied out at Muffle Bucket University. And what happened was we used to tell them, we said, you guys, if you would get yourself a couple of tube radios, and we were in, I don't know, they were threatening to kick us out of the Muffle Bucket University because we were going to talk on those good sounding tube radios. But you've got it tonight, the Gemtronics GTX 2300, squelch volume, the fine tune. Oh, I'll do my fine tune. We'll find out where you guys are on frequency here. So take a transmission. We'll do the 0 beat.
All righty. We'll give you a little audio. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That was a dead key. And 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Low radio.
All right. I had my control set correctly. I have 84.6. So maybe about 400 low. So considering the radio is, 50 years old, that is not too bad.
Yeah, pretty close. It's funny. You'll get them there, and you'll come back an hour later, and you're like, oh, man. So then you go the other way. You come back an hour later. Oh, man. So, yeah, I'll take it. That's not bad. And it's funny, but I've been out there really pushing old tube radio network, because when I'm working on these things during the day, I'll make contacts. I'm shooting skip, and I'll tell guys, what I'm talking on, what I'm working on, and now I've got a kind of a following during the day. So we've got a few new listeners and a few new watchers out there now. So I try my best to bring more people to this side where the tubes are glowing and the audio is just smooth and just amazing to listen to. All right, Dennis, I appreciate it. We appreciate everything you do, and I'm just having a ball working on these things, cleaning them up and getting them on the air.
All right, it's fun when you do it right. Anybody that is new to the Old Tube Radio Network and tuning in, this is what we do. This is the equivalent of, Dennis is getting into the 59 Pontiac and driving around the parking lot, tooting the horn, and we're looking at the fins and the hubcaps, and he's going to open the hood, and we can hear what it sounds like. And you can hear what it sounds like. This was the sound of 1972, 73, 74, when these radios were out, plate modulated, the Panasonic number 2 chassis. The fact that, I guess if you wanted to, you could put the amplified microphone on and go inside and tweak it and make it sound loud and maybe try to distort it. Some of these radios, it's really hard to make them sound bad, but he's got it sounded perfect. Good broadcast quality audio. And this is what a lot of people did. When before you were wasting your time scrolling through your cell phone, after you watched the Flintstones or Jackie Gleason, you would get on your radio at night and talk. And this was one of the sound. By now, the transistor radios were coming out, but it's hard to beat a plate modulated tube sound, and they just look cool, right? They warm up. And they look good even sitting there if you're not talking on them. So, Dennis, thanks for that. You are radio number 1 on the Old Tube Radio Network. Looking good.
Thank you, sir. And thanks to everybody participating and out there on the World Wide Web. We sure appreciate it. And thank you, Dennis, once again.
Looking good and sounding good. The Jingle Singers, who have been with us for a long, long time, are going to join us now and tell us what we do, what happens here on a Saturday afternoon, evening.
How do you do, ladies and gentlemen? Greetings to you, wherever you are. For music and the latest news from home and from afar, the station for you is
OTR, Old Tube Radio.
The station for you is
OTR.
The station for you is OTR, the Old Tube Radio Network. Listening for radio number 2 or any and all check-ins. Whoa. All right, there's a slight adjustment on the SWR. Bulldogs are still playing. I'm thinking we're in halftime or past halftime. They're playing here on the West Coast, so they can play late. SWL 59. I see you there. Uncle Hairball, SWL 59. The pages are still here. Oh, somebody proxied you in. We're going to, what happens is you get a P in the square. You P in the square, but now we're going to put an X in the square because Uncle Hairball is arrived. They let you in. You know the secret knock. There is no secret knock, but you came in through the balcony, so head on down through the mezzanine and over to the green room. And what did Gary say? I think he said it was popcorn and something. I know there's plenty of leftovers, so ignore that if you don't like it. The Old Tube Radio Network, we're listening. And Dallas UDX 347 out in Tennessee. Hearing some people on 10 meters out of Tennessee. Was sounding pretty good. Texas, Tennessee, the band was open. Not great, but it was.
How about that Old Tube Radio Network?
I am grabbing the list. Here it is. We have a very good sounding GTX 2300 that is on the list, and we have another good sounding radio of unknown origin coming from Sangertown. Hello, Sean. Back to you. Over.
Hey, howdy, Dennis. Well, I've still got my buddy bass here. I'm awfully proud of it, and I decided I want to check it in again. So I'm on the Buddy RC11B and Buddy TX11B. I'm also using the Turner Plus 3 microphone, and the giant speaker with on the air illuminated up right now, so I know I must be transmitting to you.
You are transmitting to me, sounding very good. I opened the Rolodex. There's a couple ways to do it here. Let me do the image, because we have a couple of shots of the. Oh yeah, I've got a big picture. It's probably gonna be too big, but I'll go over to it right here. And we're archiving this. So that is, and this is a 3-piece like. Oops, that's a big shot. Sort of like the Browning, where you've got the transmitter, the smaller. Are they the same? No, the smaller box of the transmitter, the larger box, and that's got the slide rule dial as a receiver. And what they did that Browning didn't do is they took the speaker out of the receiver and put it in its own separate box with a cool on-the-air light. So back to you to make the light come on.
Yeah, so it is 3 pieces, unlike the Browning, which is 2, much like the Dimco satellite, and very nice radio. Thanks to Phil, I was able to acquire this, and a radio I'd heard a lot of talk about. You know, I hear everybody talk about the Buddy Bass. I know Harvey has several of them, but never drug one out in all the years I've been listening. So, yeah, I figured no reason not to check this one in again. I really like it. Harvey put a red light in the transmitter meter for me, and then he put a green light in the receive. And then I've got a high power and low power switch on the back of the transmitter. Obviously, I'm in the low power position to run it through my Phantom. So, yeah, real nice radio. I really like the look of it too. The black is sharp, especially with the meter lamps that Harvey put in there for me.
I guess you could update them to LEDs, but probably the, I don't know, what is it, a 47, whatever the bulb is, should work out well. A lot of people don't even know these radios existed, but if you were on the air back in the 70s, there was a very select few. These radios were the end of the guys that like to do mods. You could beef up the output tube on the transmitter with a 6L6. I think it was that. In fact, that's the tube that we have glowing in the dark when we get the page back. The modulation was plate modulated, so you could really make them loud. They're actually pretty. Now we're looking at straight on. I think they're pretty, but compared, I guess, to the Demco or the Browning, maybe not much to look at. They don't have the gold knobs. A lot of people didn't like fooling with the receivers, but boy, for transmitter audio. You can't beat them, so they're hard to come by. And we do have a couple here in the Valley. Yeah, like you've got one. It was from another collection that we checked in. We've been checking in for years. Harvey's got one, as you mentioned, and I thought, I can't remember if Cliff has one or not, but we could probably get 2 or 3 going on here in the Central Valley, and that is quite impressive because they are hard to find. To purchase anywhere, and a lot of people know they can be persnickety, but yours is good. Back to you for another transmission. You've got everything wired up. I'll do a 0 beat on there. And we don't have the SDR cam, but I remember last week the audio bandwidth on that was very close to broadcast. I think it was 8 or 9 KC wide, which is certainly not illegal at all. It was nice, good sounding audio, but that is in, if you've got a receiver that is not narrowed down to the 6 kilohertz filter on receive, and you've got a nice big speaker, this is going to sound broadcast quality for sure. So back to you, over.
Yeah, they are a radio that you don't see. You don't find them on eBay, that's for sure. Phil had quite the collection of radios, I might add. He had 3 of these dudes in his possession, so I know he could get one on the air, Harvey could get one, and I could get mine, and maybe we could get 3 of them together. Yeah, very, very cool collection to get to see something like that. So, like I said, I'm very appreciative to Phil to be able to get my hands on this, and Harvey for making that happen and making sure everything was up to spec. Yeah, like I said, I'm on a Turner Plus 3 desk mic, and hopefully still making a great trip over there to you in Midtown.
Perfect in Midtown. Just if you watch the replay, I stuck the preamp on. I wanted you to see that S meter up at S9. That's with a little bit of preamp, but you're way far above the noise level, so no problem on that. Audio is good. Just did the zero beat, and it is pretty close. I had to roll, before I got the tone, I had to roll 100 up, so you might be like 50 cycles high. It's very close to being right on frequency, and the audio, of course, is superb. The Buddy Bass, let me see if we've got, let's see, which one am I on? Okay, I want to see, sometimes we have a little tail to talk about these. Marina Communications from the collection. Okay, the one we're showing is collection of Paul with a factory-installed front panel light. There was, and Harvey knows the secret to this. Marina Communications, which I believe is in California on the coast, and then there was Autronics. So there were two places where they were made, and I'm not sure if there were major differences between the two, but they didn't. Between the two, they really didn't make a lot of these, and I don't have the dates that they were made. So anybody who's got one has got a very coveted and a pretty rare radio. Maybe not so much here on the West Coast because that's where they were made, but I'll guarantee anybody that is not here on the West Coast probably hasn't seen or heard too many of these. So back to you for transmission. Just for anybody watching or listening, if you find one, here's what it's going to sound like. We're going to go back to Sean. He's not close. He's, I don't know, what is it, 15 or 16 miles away. My antenna's very low. We're hearing signals at 20 over. He's at about S5 to S9, depending on where my preamp is, but it sounds a lot louder than that. Back to you.
Yeah, I know Harvey said that the ones from L.A. were more common. Then later on, they made them further up the coast, I think somewhere by Monterey. But Harvey was kind enough to supply me with the instruction manual, a copy of an original that he has. So I do have the schematic and everything because it is not in the SAMs. And he went over it with me, so hopefully I can keep it running for years and years. But yeah, it's a nice radio, and I'm really happy to have it and be able to check it in this evening on the great old O-Tube Radio Network.
And you're glad you did your radio number 2. It's the 3-piece radio. What we got? Demco's, multiple pieces. Browning's, multiple pieces. Here's another one that you don't hear much, but plays well, especially on the transmitter. I'm not sure how easy it would be to take that transmitter and hook it to a different receiver. Some people did that on the Brownings, but no necessary if you've got all 3 pieces, especially the on-the-air speaker light from Autronics. Here it is. Reseda Sales, Autronic Corporation, 180 North Vinedo, Vinedo, Pasadena, California. I have to Google that and see if that office building is still there. Thanks for bringing it by.
Yeah, thank you for the time for the Buddy Bass tonight.
You're listening to the Old Tube Radio Network, Real Radio's Glowing in the Dark.
How do you do? Ladies and gentlemen, greetings to you. Wherever you are, your favorite spot on the dial by far is known to you as
OTR, the Old Tube Radio Network.
the station for you is
OTR.
And we are listening for any and all check-ins. And I wonder how those bulldogs are doing. They were doing pretty good. And Foxman, what is a ham tree antenna? Are you doing a multiple dipole? And I hear a radio out there. OTR is listening. Also, I see Wild Wildemar, SWL 78. Hello, Richard. I will get you checked in on the list. Somebody proxied you in, but we're changing that to an X in the square. OTR listening. And Mr. Nobody, it has been absolutely quiet. The sun went down, the skip went out. We haven't heard anything from anybody except for the locals. So, I don't know. I would say keep trying, but it's not looking good.
60.
And hello, Joe, 60. I hear you out there. Put you on radio number 3 tonight to jump into the air chair. Maybe give us an update on the San Jose. What are they? The Tartans, the Spartans, and the Bulldogs, and we'll check in the radio. Over.
Well, it's not much of a game, 24/7. Bulldogs. Doggone it, they've been stuck San Jose on 7 since the beginning. I don't even know how they got those 7 points, but not much of a game. Hopefully we'll get that trophy at the end of this. We got about another quarter to go. I think they're in the half. They're in the third quarter now. Anyway, Dennis, I'd like to check in, if I may. My Robin, 123B. I got to working on it from last week, and I hope that I brought it back to life. I was on it earlier. It's been on for a couple of days, and I'm hoping that she's working on your end.
It's working. It is sounding good. The T123B. I think I've got a shot on it here. In fact, yeah, we've got the whole thing recorded. Not only the audio. Okay, there we go. There's a 123B for you. Not only the audio last week, but we could see on the scope when it made the big shift and the carrier sort of moved and then it went away. So good job on bringing it back because it sounds good. Over.
We did a little tweaking and peeking there to help her out there. I was really confused. I was telling Dennis 1017 there earlier how I thought I'd blown my meter at first, and I put another radio in line, and it did the same thing, and I said, oh boy, we got a problem, all right. It looks to be like that cable. Sure enough, I checked that cable from the antenna there, and the center was come unsoldered. And then that's what caused the drop last Saturday. While we had it open, we went ahead and brought up the wattage, did the little plate tune bit on the back, and brought up the wattage to it, and I hoped it helped it out a little bit, but we're talking to you without the cover on it at this moment, and I can see the 11 tubes glowing in the dark there with excitement in them. So we're happy to see that. We'll put the cover back on, and I think we might be able to put it back on the shelf.
It's good. It's good to go. You did the Sherlocking and found what the issue was. One of our listeners, Foxman, who does a lot of videos, always calls it the Batman radio because of the Robin. You know Batman and Robin, and earlier we had the Gemtronics GTX 2300. Same insides, but the Robin, the same radio, same insides, but for some reason Robin must have paid a little extra money, and they pulled a few knobs in the front. They got the RF gain out there, they got the external speaker, they put the range boost on, so this is the deluxe version. Sounds just as good with the insides. And what was the other thing? They run hot as a pistol, and they give you that little teeny microphone, but whatever you're doing, it sounds good.
We are on preamplified D104, and Dennis, I don't have the top on it right now. Like I said, a minute ago there, I was looking at the tubes and stuff in the inside. Kind of reminds me of when I drove around town in my old 55 Chevy with no hood on. You could see your motor. That's just what it looks like to me there. So I'm gonna miss that when I put the top back on it.
Indeed. All right. Well, hang on one from Joe. We're talking to on the Robin T123, and we've got another Joe Joseph 24. I think we proxied you in. I wasn't sure if I missed you because it was too early, but I see you're out there now, so I'll give you an X in the square 24. Over.
Oh yeah, I actually forgot.
All right. Well, it's a busy weekend. I knew a lot of people would be out of town and visiting relatives, and so if you had to sneak away, go sneak back. They'll never know you were gone. Over.
Over. Have a good night, gentlemen.
All right. Thanks. Thanks, Joe. So 24 checked in. And Joe on the Robin, ROBYN, 23-channel citizen band transceiver. Sounding good. Back to you, Joe.
Well, thanks a whole lot there, Dennis. Yeah, interesting little radio there for sure. Right now we have the old modulation light just going at it, and TX light is on, and there's a light for your PA, and there's a light for your external speaker down there. Quite a few things going on this radio, Dennis, but it's definitely a keeper. And I appreciate you letting me check this one in, because I think I've got another one warming up.
All right, one more shot for our listeners. Here is the Robin. We don't normally have the box it came in as part of our video, but there you go. The in 1972, 73, 74, 75, 76, this is the radio. This is their top of the line. I think the price was in the $230, $250 range. You could run it mobile or base. It says that it'll do that. You had to have the power cord in the back. 5-watt, 23-channel citizen band receiver. Just think how you would have felt bringing this out of the Ford Galaxy. The looks and performance of tomorrow by the designers and engineers of today. And gosh, 50 years later, they're still looking and sounding good. It even has the mobile bracket on the bottom where you'll be able to do that. Sounding good for Radio 3, the Robin T123. B, Bravo, and yeah, Joe, if you got a couple more before we sign out of here, we will put them on the list. Over.
Yes, sir. Doggone it, we have gotten. I've broken away from the game there. Sadly, it's totally at a standstill on San Jose part. Fresno State seems to be doing their little nickel and diming those points in there, and that's what counts. Okay, we'll be down, hooking up another one.
Indeed. Well, maybe this is the nickel and dime frequency. Thanks for stopping by with Radio 3, the old Tube Radio Network. Real radios glowing in the dark, something we've been doing since, I don't know, but the mid 1980s here on Channel 11, the Central Valley of California. I know there are stations that do similar things, likewise where they are at, so good for you. And if you're watching, maybe you can work on getting on the air. It doesn't have to be classic vintage radio. Just get people out there to fire things up. My name is Dennis, one of the many net controllers that sit in the air chair here in the 40 years and having a good time doing it. We are going to be listening for Radio 4. The Jingle Singers, exclusively to the Old Tube Radio Network, are going to tell us about their favorite place on a Saturday evening. You are listening to the Old Tube Radio Network.
How do you do, ladies and gentlemen? Greetings to you, wherever you are. The friendliest station for you by far is known to all as
OTR, the Old Tube Radio Network.
The station for you is
OTR.
14. With the switch in that position, looking good. This is when I wish we had the SDR on, because you'll see that tone or that harmonic of whatever the frequency is going out to about 12K wide. Sounding good, Sean. Take another transmission and let me know where I should be flipping the Rolodex. I think I know already, though.
Yeah, that is the Browning Golden Eagle Mark III with the affectionately known Bozo control knob for the ping, which is a giant red knob that some dope drilled a hole right under the meter and put it there. But it does function well. I can make the ping very long or normal. And of course, Harvey customized that for me for the ping. It had some goofy deal where it turned the transmitter off before. It was totally pointless function, but now it serves a pretty good point. And I'm on a unamplified D104 microphone.
A good choice for the microphonium. Let me jump over and see if we've got a shot. Yeah, we do. Dial it in there. Side by side. These radios are long enough where you can stack them on top of each other. They don't seem to mind the heat. I mean, they're tubes anyway. Stack them side to side as long as you've got a 3-foot table. And here's our second dual-piece radio. We had the Buddy Bass not too long ago. This is Browning's version of such. And as you know, because you had the prior radio, this one's a little bit fancier. This one shines a little bit more in the light over.
Yeah, Roger, especially on the receive. Also, in between the last radio, I lined up the Buddy Bass back-to-back with all 3 pieces in front of the Browning Golden Eagle, and the Buddy is 2 inches shorter, maybe an inch and a half, but it's a little bit shorter than the Browning, and obviously it's quite a bit squattier as well, a couple inches below it. But yeah, a nice radio, the Browning. The receive is phenomenal, and the transmit as well is very clear with its high tones. No amplified microphone needed, that's for sure, on this Browning.
Yeah, in fact, we've checked in enough of them that if you do end up putting an amplified microphone on them, what you end up having to do is turn it way, way down, or sometimes the internal radio will be set for an amplified microphone, and it's turned way, way down, and you stick on a normal D104 or the 776, and they're not too loud. But I like the way yours is set. I don't hear a lot of background noise. It's plate modulated. It's really hard to overdrive a Browning. That's for sure. And we'll make the note. I've got a good picture of the receiver here. Is it the receiver or the transmitter? It's got I guess it's the... No, the receiver has the on-the-air light, but it's built in. The receiver is built in. And then the on-the-air light is built into the receiver. So that's why it's the one piece. The Buddy's got a separate speaker. So I guess they could keep the receiver smaller that way, but I kind of like it. I mean, you cannot go wrong with a Browning, like you said, especially for the receive over.
Yeah, that's for sure. And this one has a lot of character. The mold must have been very worn out for the casting of the Eagle, because mine has, unless you knew, you might not realize that you're looking at an Eagle. He's very rounded. He doesn't have any definition to him. Looks like your uncle casted him in the backyard out of bronze or something. And the other thing that's notable on this radio is Harvey had got it swapping through something for something else, and the guy he got it from smoked. And man, I'm going to tell you, he had warned me, but I didn't realize how bad that could be. And this thing made me sick. It smelled so bad. I don't smoke, and shit, it took me at least a week to cook that smell out of it. But now it doesn't smell anymore. It's neutralized. But boy, it was to the point where I was going to have to put it outside. So I have to be careful now. If something comes from a smoking environment, I don't want to go through that again.
Well, when you think of it, I mean, you look at some of the ads for early radios, whether it was ham radios or especially ham radios. They always had a guy there smoking a pipe in a jacket. Hence the let's go back to the control room. Hence the seersucker jack. So I don't have the pipe, because we learned at some point from the Surgeon General and others that not only was smoking bad for you, but it was bad for electronic years. And I've worked in the broadcast industry for quite a while, and I can remember my first jobs where you would go in at 5 a.m, and the directors and people would be in the control room smoking. And then at some point, the no smoking signs went up, and it was verboten to have any tar and nicotine wafting into the equipment, and I think they found out the same thing. It would coat the components and be a very bad thing. So once you, like I said, once you can get it all cleaned up, it works well. So boys and girls, that you shouldn't smoke, and neither should your equipment. Over.
Yeah, that's for sure. This one's given me the most problems with contacts because of that. And I know what it is. It was Swisher Sweets, because my cousin smoked them, and they stink. So then Swisher Sweets are very pungent and hard on contacts on radios. But luckily, it's all worked out. It's neutralized on the odor, and hopefully making a good trip to you tonight on the Browning Golden Eagle Mark III.
Sounding good, doing a good job. One question, because I'm not super familiar with that, but on the Mark III receiver, and this is, I've got the longer version. So the Mark II, you had a separate unit, or maybe 2 units to do sideband. You had a sideband transmitter and the transadapter. So when they did the Mark III a couple of years later, and these, I think the build years on these are, I'm going to say 1972 to 76. They incorporated everything into the transmitter, and that's why it is the longer size. They did make an AM-only transmitter. It's about half the size. So I know the transmitter doesn't go above 23 channels because that wasn't the FCC accepted, but can your receiver go up above channel 23?
I do not believe so. This doesn't have any kind of a kit in it or anything. It is a sideband, but there's no one to talk to on the 23 channels of lower sideband. So, no, I don't think I have any extra channels. It's a 23-channel radio. Now, I do know that it zooms all around on the 23 channels because I've shot skip with this thing before, and it is a good talker, especially with that dramatic ping that Harvey put in there for me.
Oh yeah, and that is switchable, right?
Oh yeah, 10-4. This is the regular ping, and then here I'll do the long one. Yeah, there you go. It sounds like a ping pong ball bouncing around. So yeah, that's the custom ping.
Beautiful, and you can orchestrate that. In fact, that's what he's doing. You can move the microphone around. Probably get pretty good at it. So if you're musically inclined, you can make your own little tone every time you key up. Some people like them, some people didn't. Some people actually modified the pings to sound more like they were hitting in a group down in Southern California in the 70s. There was a whole channel. Most everybody ran Brownings, and each person somehow tailored their ping either to be long or short. There was one station called Ricky Tick, and she had one, it sounded like she was hitting a wine glass. Ding! It was super pure. And so everybody had their own little ping, and you didn't even need to hear their voice to know who was keying up. And again, it was a status symbol to have that ping, because this was, maybe compared to the trans, but this was the most expensive radio. Gosh, I remember driving to the Bakersfield the Bakersfield Break, and this would have been 1972, and they were, one of the prizes was the Browning Mark III when they first came in. I believe they were $600 or $700. So the price of a good used car or a console TV set, they still command those prices today, and unlike the console TV set and used car that are in the junk pile, the Brownings are on the operating table. Back to you for a transmission. Thanks for bringing it by. Radio number 4, the Browning Golden Eagle Mark III. Over.
Yeah, and like you said, with the pings, I know Harvey, he's played Jingle Bells over here more than once for me with a Browning radio, so we might just get that out of him this December when it's coming up. So thanks for the time tonight, Dennis, and thanks to all the SWLs out there, too, for taking the time to watch our program this evening.
Indeed. Well, maybe the Espresso Trucking Company will probably have a very festive holiday jingle, and then we can include the Brownings doing their Jingle Bells. You are listening to the Old Tube Radio Network. We'll be counting and mounting, but there's still time to get a radio in before we sign out. The Jingle Singers will tell us how to do that.
You're listening in the latest style at
27.085 megahertz. Channel 11, Old Tube Radio.
In wonderful
Fresno, California.
I like the way they always mention wonderful Fresno. It leads me to believe that they recorded these out of town and never showed up. OTR's listening.
60.
Hello, Joe. You are back in the air chair. Over.
Thank you much, Dennis. I'd like to check in my Hustler bass. 7 tubes, 8 channels.
Hustler bass, 7 tubes, 8 channels. No waiting. I will somehow, I know there was a shot of the beautiful Hustler radio here somewhere in my archive. So I'll go back to you for a transmission. And if I'm lucky, I will find the beautiful blue radio for all to see back to you.
Thank you much, Dennis. Dennis, this little radio is equipped. It's equipped with a bar there, you can mount under the dash of your car. And it also has a mic hanger. And she has the plug right now for AC purposes, but a guy can run this one mobile. Volume, squelch, spotter, switch, crystal, slot, channel, control, you got your tuning there too. Doggone it, got a vertical meter on it, little 2x2 speaker. Pretty little radio.
World Radio Labs, aka Globe. Globe Electronics made a lot of their sets. World Radio Labs goes back to WRL for Leo Meyerson, who is making well-known boat anchor amateur radio gears at the time, amateur radio rigs at the time. Decided, some of his friends at, say, Heathkit and Hallicrafters and Hammerland and E.F. Johnson were making some bucks off this thing. So I think what he did was take one of those giant boat anchors and start pulling everything out until it stopped working. And then he put whatever that component was back in. It started working. Then he made it compliant with the FCC by making it 5 watts DC input, crystal controlled. And like you said, he even threw in an S meter and kept the price very reasonable and sold a few. And you have one of them. Back to you.
Most definitely there, Dennis. Doggone it, 7 tubes operates this little radio here. It's remarkable what those 7 tubes are doing to be able to receive and transmit. It runs cool. It's not a very hot radio. Like I said, it has a carrying handle on it. If you want to, you could carry it around like the kids would in the old days carry their radios and listen to their music. But not exactly that. We have this is a +3, a Turner +3 desk mic. And that pretty much explains this one here, Dennis. I appreciate you letting me check this one in. I've got another one warming up, and I'd like to get that one off, too.
No problem. We can do that. The beautiful Hustler from the Hustler. Now, you didn't take your handle from this radio, did you? Like, you looked down and said, well, that's what I'm going to call myself.
No. The name of this little bass is Hustler. It has my handle, which is kind of nice.
There's a story. I won't tell it now. I'll tell it next time about a station that I talked to. This is when I first started CB 50 years ago, and his handle was the name of his radio, and that's how he came upon that handle, because he got, I guess, a little confused when someone says, "What's your handle?" and he just looked down, and that was the first word he saw. So you were a Hustler long before this Hustler was on the radio shelf. Sounding good. All right, go connect the coax. We'll make sure it gets checked in before we sign out of here tonight. The jingle singers will tell us about the magic, and then we'll probably have a radio before we leave tonight.
What are the magic numbers?
27.085 megahertz, channel 11.
Are the magic letters?
OTR.
Right here in
Fresno, California.
Radio Magic.
Old Tube Radio.
For you.
Hey, Joe, sorry, you caught me counting and amounting here. 60, you're up at the microphonium. It is working well, so give me the Watt 4, and I'll see if I can find us all a picture of what you got. Over.
Okay, Dennis. We're talking about a messenger, a 223, 10-2, all 23 channels. Doggone it, we like this radio, Dennis. Since day one of my favorites. It's a very simple radio to operate. For one that doesn't all the knobs and switches and all that. If it doesn't appeal to them, this doesn't have it. It has a meter. It has a channel selector on it, and a volume, and a squelch, and the original desk mic. Very simple to operate.
Simple to operate. That's the way that E.F. Johnson, Edgar F., and the crew, and they were like Browning. They have hundreds of people working in their shops in the 50s and 60s. Of course, Citizen Band was supposed to be that. It was supposed to be simple. It was a way for you to buy a base station, which would have been this radio, because it did not run on 12 volts. And then go pick up one of the solid-state radios they had at the time, or maybe you already had the Messenger 2 or the Viking, and put it in your other part of the business or in your mobile and get your license, and you'd have a base to unit 1, 2, 3, whatever. Good to go. But they made it so you could have all 23 channels, didn't have to worry about buying those $4 crystal packs and opening the radio. Plus, they made it deluxe and gave you an S-meter, and whoever designed it did a great job, because not very confusing. I mean, we've seen the fronts of the Brownings and the Buddy bases, where you got to tune and load and spot and everything. This was, like you said, you turn it on, adjust your volume, set your channel, and you are good to go, which is basically what you just did, I think.
That's right, Dennis. And, yeah, you could go round and round on the knob there, all 23 channels. It had the old Emergency 9 channel in red, so it was pretty neat. Now, I've got one that looks exactly like it, except it's solid state. It's a 124M. I think it is M. I think that's what it is. Solid state. Looks just like the 223. The cases are alike. You can switch them, and they button up the same way. So, in a way, I have the tuber and the solid state.
You bring up a good point. One with this radio, it was E.F. Johnson produced it for Sears. It was under like a silver tone with the Sears SR atomic logo, and it had a 4-digit number. And it was the tube version. And then probably in the late 60s and early 70s, E.F. Johnson started coming out with very small mobiles, the 123 and I think the 323, to replace the Messenger 2 and the Viking Messenger. When they realized, that people needed mobile radios, they started doing the solid state. And this was such a good sales for them, they really didn't need to change anything about it. So 1969, 70, 71, maybe 72 would be the last year that they produced this tube radio. And then, like you said, they went to the sort of the 250 or the golden version and just solid stated the thing. It was still good, but it just probably was a better way to go for him. We used to talk to Radio Ham guy, Larry, who I haven't checked in with in a while. I'd like to get him back on. He was one of our first Echolink guys, and he had worked in the E.F. Johnson factory and said it was a great place to work for in the 80s. And he said about the only problem they ever really had was their crystals drifting off. But I think yours is good. It sounds like it's right on frequency, so no problem there. Over.
Well, we appreciate that, Dennis. Doggone it. We haven't had any complaints as to it being too far off. And if it was, I wouldn't know what to do about that. But anyway, I appreciate you letting me check this one in. Like I said, this is a terrific radio. I really, this is more like my speed. I just like to shift the gears and go.
Indeed. E.F. Johnson made a microphone, or they had, I think it was Turner, make a microphone for them with the E.F. Johnson logo and the little Viking head. It would plug right in. Various versions, the later versions, which we were showing, and the one we're showing now doesn't have it, but it had the modulation light on the front. And I think these are electronic switching, because it is still basically the Messenger 2 chassis from the 60s, and they stuck it in a bigger case, put the big power supply in the S-meter. So I think if you were to, and you probably already know this, if you are listening but you unplug the microphonium, your receive sound goes away.
Yes, it does. And doggone it, we don't get too much into that because we've been shocked a couple of times with these microphones. Let it be known there for sure. Make sure the unit's off before you try to wire or unplug that mic.
I would get some people, they think the radio wasn't working, but that was an electronic switching, so it didn't have a big clunk relay going on. Radio number 6 from E.F. Johnson, Waseca, Minnesota, I believe Messenger 223. So we've got a nice representation from the Midwest, the West Coast, and the East Coast tonight on the radios, and I'm glad that we had some people. I was afraid that nobody would be around the radio tonight, but we did pretty good. Going to do some counting and amounting and get out of here, because I know a lot of people are staying up late and have things to do. We appreciate everybody that jumped in tonight and maybe quickly snuck away from the festivities to join us. We appreciate that. So thanks, Joe, for your efforts tonight.
Well, Dennis, I sure appreciate it. And doggone it, if I may, I'd just like to check this one in. I think this all the time reminds me of Kenny up there in Oklahoma, him and Marsha. Happy Thanksgiving to you fellas. I know you're listening. Love you both.
Yeah, so you changed the radio over?
She's changed. This is the Mustang 2.
All right, I've got a shot of that, I'm pretty sure, and Kenny checked in. He checked in earlier, just before the net went on tonight, and said hello to everybody, and wanted to make sure. Yeah, I've got a shot here. Wanted to make sure that he wished a happy holiday, happy Thanksgiving to everybody. Here's the Mustang 2. Don't have a great shot, but this is courtesy of CB Tricks, and we appreciate it. But there it is, and it kind of reminds me of the Hustler. No, it's not blue, and it might have 7 tubes. It's got the S-meter, but it does a good job, and it sounded good here on the West Coast.
Well, I appreciate that, Dennis, and doggone it, we spoke to Ken a couple of days ago. Wish him happy Thanksgiving. I talked to him on the phone there, and I'm glad he's listening. And to you, Kenny, out there, this is the Mustang 2 from Metrotech.
And just technical-wise, we're showing it with I'm going to call it a hardwired microphone. I know the Hustler was the same way, but you had had the microphone replaced with something different. What about on the Mustang 2?
This is the original mic, Dennis. Original mic. Got your volume, your squelch, and your spotter. It looks similar to the World Radio Labs, my Hustler bass, but these knobs are horizontally from one end to the other, and Hustler, they're square next to the meter there. The 4 knobs, 2 on top, 2 on the bottom. And the speaker, of course, on this Metrotech is just a little bit larger, or longer, I think 2x4 maybe. But Nice radio, and again, thanks for letting me check this one in, Dennis.
Thanks for bringing it by. And just for people listening, the way we do the audio from the receiver, it comes directly, a direct feed out of the radio, not putting a microphone up to the speaker here in the room, directly an audio output from the receiver, my receiver. It goes through, we have one equalizer to roll off the high frequency and the low frequency below 30 for any buzzing. And then it goes directly into the sound card and out to the people listening. So what they're hearing is exactly what I'm hearing, whether it's an S3 or a 20 over S9, still the same signal. We're getting a lot of good comments for the radios tonight. So I don't do anything, and often I'm sitting here live in the control room with the expensive high-dollar microphonium, and often I'll listen to the replay, and I'll notice, gee whiz, the radios sound better than I do. And that's the quality it is. Thanks, Joe. Looking good. We've got the jingle singers. I'm going to do some counting and mounting, and then we'll jump out of here. You're listening to the Old Tube Radio Network.
You're tuned to
OTR. Channel 11.
right here in
Fresno, California.
Stay with us
Old Tube Radio.
and be modern.
One more.
This is the one more frequency. Hello, Harvey. Back into the radio room. I don't know if you've been listening. Hope you got a little bit of rest, but we've done well tonight. Better than I thought for this holiday over.
I've kind of been listening to that, the show, and the ball game. Okay, the R68T68 by Browning Laboratories. That'll be it for me. I got to get back in the other room.
All right, I can hear the replay going on. That sounds like a good thing. Sort of like when they have to tell the caller to turn down the radio, but it is not interfering with you at all. I have a quick photo of the R68 T68. Let's see if I can. Sometimes I can find it, and sometimes it's not there. But if I can find it, I will put it up because it is a little bit different than the Mark II, and certainly quite a bit different than the Mark III. So thanks, Harvey. Thanks for jumping in. We appreciate it, and take care, and we'll look for you next week.
You betcha. I'll do my best. We'll see ya.
And what they, I guess what they gave me was the ad from 1967, 66, 67, the Golden Eagle by Browning, full color page ad. So they spent some money on that. There was a external speaker you could get for it. There was also, and this might have been more for the Mark II, but there was a case, wooden case, where you could pair the transmitter and the receiver together. I think you had to take off the cases that were on them and stick them in that way. But good stuff. This radio is still at about the $450 to $500 price range. 67 before inflation, just before everything kind of changed. Might have been the last, the Mark II and the Golden Eagle. Last chance to get top of the line stuff made in the USA for a price that might have been affordable. Maybe if you were doing a paper route, but if you had a semi-decent paying job, you could put this on your desk. The Old Tube Radio Network. Okay, we're waiting for Mr. Announcer. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, time now for the current OTR totals.
This will be the current and final totals. I'm still here. Thanks, everybody, for jumping in tonight, whether you were far away or here locally. We do this every Saturday. I know there are a lot of other places that do something like that in your area. So give it a shot or create your own. Listen for us on the skip, especially on the West Coast for the e-skip. It's always fun to get the far-out check-ins. We didn't have any tonight. It's been very quiet. And we're still kind of searching the airwaves for SDRs that might be close to you. We can get check-ins that way. It used to work great for our group up there in Squamish, and we've tried it a couple times. There's nothing close enough. But you find something, one of the Kiwi SDRs, and you've got a shot into it, and you've got a radio that we can hear through that SDR. So it'll be fun to check it in. 7 radios tonight. Let's go to the SWLs. We had 19 on page 1, 26 on page 2, 20 on page 3, and 26 on page 4 off the list. Of course, we had more than that checking in for a total of 91. So we had way more people listening tonight, watching than I thought. So a lot more people at home. If you're new, or maybe one of your relatives is forcing you to watch this goofy guy in the suit and the cool radios, something we do. This is how we have a good time. This was maybe not the original intent of your Class D 11-meter radio, but that's certainly what it turned into. And this is what it sounded like. Now, you may turn it on, tomorrow and think, well, that's not what I remember. Well, what you heard tonight is what you remember and what we all had fun doing, which is having a good chat and taking time out to talk to your neighbor. That's the good stuff. Radios tonight, the most heard manufacturer. Did we have a tie? EF Johnson Metro. I think we had a 6-way or 7-way tie. Started with the Gemtronics GTX 2300. Another refurbed radio. A little bit of polish and some new pieces and parts. Sounding very good. It's all in the replay if you go to YouTube. And Dennis did a good job on that one. Thank you, Jerry and Dennis, for the Gemtronics GTX 2300. Good choice of the microphonium, too. That's part of the classic stuff. If you're going to have a radio sitting on the table that you want people to come by and look at, part of it is getting that microphone, whether it's the classic microphone that goes with us or something like the DA or 10DA head that they put on from a static. It helps the mystique. Radio number 2, the TX11B, RC11B, plus the on-the-air speaker from Buddy Bass. Timing up my transmitter. From Sean and Sanger. Good quality audio on that, nice and loud. Very deceiving. You look and say, okay, that's 20 over, and you look at this S7. But still above the noise. Thanks, Sean, for that. You can't check that one in too much. No way, no how. Robin T123, and I forgot to put B because the 123 is a whole different radio. That's from Joe SWL60. Radio 3, followed by the Browning Golden Eagle Mark III SSB. Sean was bringing out the high dollar stuff tonight. That's like 6 pieces of radio, and we're already into the way into the 4 digits, even at the brand new prices. Thanks for Radio 4. Then the triple play, I guess, in honor of the Bulldogs from Joe, the World Radio Labs Hustler, a very rare item indeed. Aren't too many around, but a very cute radio. And if you can get its cousins, anything from Globe Electronics, they'll sound just as good. Also, the E.F. Johnson Messenger 223, a workhorse and still sounding good in the 21st century, well into the 21st century. And from the collection of SWL 69, thank you, Kenny. We appreciated having it back here for the airwaves in Fresno, California, the Metrotech Mustang 2. 73, everybody. I hope you are having a good holiday weekend and were able to get what you wanted to get done, maybe see some people you haven't seen before or travel to places you haven't traveled before like I did. Back in the air chair, it feels good, and we will catch you all next week on your Old Tube Radio Network 73.
Thanks a bunch there, Dennis. It looks like San Diego's creeping up. There's still a whole quarter to go, 14:24, so it looks like they're starting to creep up on them. Okay, Dennis, good night, and thanks for the net.
All right, indeed. Time to put the A-team back in for a while anyway, at least for the last 5 minutes. Sounding good. File my paperwork. And hopefully we'll have a chance to pull out the mystery box and see if we can't pull the workings from oldtuberadio.net and stuff them in somewhere else. We'll see what we can do. In the meantime, thanks for joining us here. Not sure what I'll be doing tomorrow. I am definitely going to check out 10 Meter AM. at some point in the probably late morning or early afternoon at 2900, and maybe we'll jump up to the tech window on 10 meters. It's open pretty good, at least from here. Texas, Arkansas, Louisiana, Tennessee, Wisconsin, Michigan. You never know, so you just have to go in there and listen in. Good night, everybody. Maybe even Rockwood, Tennessee. If not, I'll have to catch Richie's video, because I always know what's going on and where the skip is open. And thank you, John. Even Arkansas. I'll see if I can hear Arkansas on 10 or 15 meters tomorrow evening. All right, I'm out of the suit. I think there's some chocolate chip cookies or some pumpkin pie waiting for me over in the green room. Catch you later.